Hello, everyone. This is Duran's Healing, and welcome to tonight's Healing Circle. For those of you who are new here, welcome to my channel, where I provide weekly energetic updates for the collective. And as I began to blaze this fire tonight, gather around and contribute your very powerful energy. Whether it be a like, a share, subscribe, or comment below to let me know how these messages are showing up in your world. And for starters, I would like to say I feel very sensitive right now. Like I'm still registering or feeling the effects of the last reading that I did. So I lit up some candles tonight to keep me in balance or keep me in the space of groundedness as I prepare to read the energies moving throughout the cosmos. With that being said, I would like to jump right into the stones. I was about to say stars. There's something high about this energy that I'm feeling. Something up in the cosmos. I'm not particularly sure, but what I would like to do is to jump right into the stones to see the energies moving throughout the cosmos. And the message that's speaking the loudest is coming from your spirit guides, your ancestor team, or your higher team, and it's landing in the mineral, meaning the conduit part of your energy, being the translator or the relator from one dimension to the next. And judging by the way the stones are falling here, they're like these 4 points or 4 quadrants of energy circulating around this stone. I'm seeing the north, the south, the east, and the west. And being that it's in the mineral, there's these 2 sections that are ringing the loudest. Hopefully I will be able to get into all 4, but I would like to start into the first 2, but there's a lot of information or a lot of shells here. And the first section that I would like to read is the south node, the node that speaks to the doll that represents you. And what I'm downloading here is that your higher energy or your higher team is speaking to the fact that there is something in this energy of you being a conduit that is allowing you to embrace this position, embrace this role in the community. But this community I'm sensing here by the positioning of this doll as it sits on this line above the mineral is like a part of you, or the top half of you is on the spiritual side or on the more eclectic side of you that reads the messages, that hears the energy. And on the other side where your feet is planted is the very ground that you walk on, is the very community that you exist in. And at your hand, it's so unique what I'm seeing here in the stones. On your right hand is your heart that is showing face down or bottom up, like the heart is right side down. And on the left hand is just this shell showing belly up. And what I'm downloading here in this thread of consciousness is that there is something in your frequency at this current time that is rising you up, that is making you be positioned above, because you may be feeling the energies moving very strongly, getting messages to do things, getting messages so vividly, so profoundly that it is lifting or elevating your energy. What I'm seeing here is that some of you may be in the energetic frequency that is of light, that is of a feather. Like your weight cannot handle certain dynamics is what I'm gathering here. But because your hands are full, this is serving almost like a balancing scale, like it keeps you elevated. It keeps you in a position where you can stay at a certain vibration, almost like you're levitating. And this right side, I'm seeing you holding hands on the left and right side like children. Oh, Red Rover, like the game Red Rover, send such and such over. Like you're holding hands with the frequencies that are dearest to you. And this is what's keeping your energy from soaring or gravitating up above with these frequencies, rising you so high up that you disappear from the community around you. You're staying at this levitated state where people know you're still here, but they cannot connect with you if they're not on a certain vibration, if they're not calibrated on this energy that your head, that your mind is focused in on. You don't have the attention for it or the wherewithal to energetically handle it. However, your hands are being connected by one, your devotion, your heart, something on your heartstrings. Your devotion to community is what keeps you grounded, what keeps you at this levitated state. Like your commitment to the people around you. That is a motivating factor. That is a driving force for you. However, this stone is upside down. I'm seeing grief. I'm seeing disappointment, but there's two messages here. On one side, there is grief, there is disappointment. Maybe because you're realizing you cannot be a part of community in the way that you like, in the way that you want to be in community. Something is keeping you up or away, which is this higher knowledge, which is this spiritual conduit that you are, that keeps you in a position to receive messages, energetically calibrated a certain way on a certain frequency, rising you above the village that you hold dear to your heart. That's one message that I'm getting here. But the other message that I'm downloading is that this grief or disappointment is maybe a part of the experience in being in community, being hurt or being affected by the dynamics you're connected with. I'm not sure what this is or what I'm gathering here, but the disappointment in your heart may be in response to people's response to your energy. Yeah, and it's making you be in this space where you're grieving or hurt by certain dynamics, certain issues. But not only that, I'm seeing grief in people's position, people's state of being. Your heart mourns for the placement that people in your village have to be in, the circumstances of their situation. And this is the flip side of it. It's almost like it is motivating you to rise above. It is motivating you to be in a space where you have to find answers or have to enter into the state of levitation so that you can get some resolution, get some sort of answer out here to the reason why people are in the state that they're in, why your heart is feeling this way because of people's position in the community that they can't get themselves out of. And that is this flip side of your heart, realizing that you may be positioned here to be the one, to give answers, to provide this resolution, to provide something in this position. You're in this position for a reason is what I'm gathering here. But the motivating factor is your heart. Being so connected to the people around you, whether you're feeling disappointment, whether you're feeling the weight of the position that people are in. I'm just seeing something about having to help other people, having to provide something, giving, nurturing other people. But by you being in this position, you're able to do so. But it doesn't erase the grief that you feel. Like you can't be in the village. Like you can't be amongst them because you're going to suffer the same consequence. Yeah, that is what I'm downloading here. But you being elevated does not make you forget where you come from. It does not make you forget where your heart truly is. A state of grief right now. Survivor's guilt is what I'm downloading. Very interesting thread of consciousness. But on the other side of your hand, what is keeping you grounded but also connected in the community, in this hand holding that I'm picking up on, is this energy you're able to curate. That is activated because the stone is showing face up. Like you can create this energetic frequency by you being above, by you being in this elevated state, allows this cutting through the consciousness. Like you're creating a different energetic hub, a different energetic avenue for other people to follow, for other people to have access to, because you're staying in this state. Because you're levitating in this state, your creation or your ability to hold hands or bridge the connection with other energies or other entities, it allows this energetic creation to occur, this energetic frequency to expand itself out in the world around you, in the community around you, just enough for other people to be able to register, to park their car, to know if the world around them gets too hot, there is something here in your frequency that you're creating, that you're evolving out of or into, that protrudes out in the world around you, like this energetic space. There's no stones necessarily connected here. There's a void here, like this space here. So I don't know what this energy is. I don't know what your creation is, but I can see this energetic space in the time. Space continuum where you're strong enough, where you're levitated enough to produce something energetically positive, energetically charged enough. In the cosmos where other people can see the avenue that you're creating, can see this element in your frequency where they can get to, where they can find this solace here, one way or the other. That is what I'm downloading here in this thread of consciousness. But like I was saying, these four quadrants, these energies are expanding itself out so much. Though we're in the southern piece, the doll that represents you also have these quadrants. We read the left and the right, the west and the east, but there is something further south at your feet where you're planting your feet in community as you levitate. And what's on the bottom, and this bottom is the people your energy is most connected to. And the stone here is transformation, transition that is ensuing by you being in this elevated or levitated state. And what I'm downloading here next to this energy, or in this energy, is that you're cooking up something as you sit in this space. You're not in this space doing nothing. It may appear this way, but the truth of the matter here is that you're in the kitchen, stirring the pot. And this transformation that is occurring is people smelling the cooking of what you've been doing as you stay in this state. And transformation is ensuing. This lets me know that someone or something's hunger is about to be quenched. That is what this energy is speaking to. You wouldn't be cooking or called to cook if it wasn't for a reason. As you pick up on the higher energies, your body knows that, oh, this higher energy is giving you the message to go to the grocery store, to start preparing this meal. And as you do so, you're preparing this meal, but on the bottom level, it's because you know people are hungry. And something in this transformative or this transformation energy that is occurring in the cosmos is happening because people are realizing or coming to terms with this transition, with this hunger that exists within them, but you're the one to stir it up. That's what I like to see. You stirring the pot. Action is starting to happen now in the community around you. In this underbelly is what I'm gathering here. And the shells that are showing up outside of this transition are the relationship ring, and there's a shell showing belly down in your brilliant stone. Oh, this is a twofold message. And what I'm downloading here in this transition that's occurring, for those of you in the collective who may be dealing with relationships, I'm seeing a romantic. But what I'm gathering here is that for those of you in the collective that may have been impacted by a relationship dynamic, a transition or a transformation is occurring while you cook, while you're away cooking. But you going away from this relationship lets me know you stayed true to your higher calling. You stayed true to your higher self, listening to the messages to go to the grocery store. But this grocery store was you affirming your spirituality, the path that you were on. And something about this relationship that I'm picking up on would force you to compromise this part of yourself. And there was an issue that arose. There was an issue that happened. Put you at this point of contention is what I'm gathering here, where you had to make a decision whether you were going to stay in this reductive state to maintain this relationship for the sake of, I'm getting a lot of messages here. Oh, some of you were presented with this message where you had to stay in this relationship dynamic for the sake of a sense of security. Oh, a false sense of security is what I'm hearing. For others, I'm downloading another message is a lack of a common goal. There was not a common direction. You were not on the same page in the terms of ascending, in terms of the longer vision, a point of contention. And also what I'm hearing here is that there may be an issue about meeting the demands, the social demands of performing is what I'm gathering here. Some of you in the collective may have started to feel like you were performing for social norms, like the core wasn't radiating on the frequency that you were vibrating on. Something of truth, something of power, something of higher energy is what I'm gathering here. And you were forced to make a decision whether you were going to stay in this dynamic where the water started to get a bit muddy, or you were going to rise above. I'm seeing a test. This contention may have been a test for you to see whether you were going to choose yourself, but you're choosing yourself with this higher calling, with this higher mission that your spirit was tapped in on. Your position, your leadership role as a messenger between this world and the other world, and the messages that you were receiving that you had to go to the grocery store. There is something coming down the pipeline which requires you to stay in this levitated state, to stay in this frequency where you're rising above, and this energy or this point of contention would require you or make your energy be reduced down, and you chose the higher path. By God. And the transformation that is here is that whoever you have left, whoever you have disassociated with is starting to miss the absence of your frequency, is starting to see that you were cooking up something different. They're starting to see on a much larger level the light of your frequency. And there may be this shift in the frequency, a transition where You may not see this. That's what I'm getting here. You may not see what they're experiencing because you're elevated. You're in this levitated state, focused in on something more important. You may not even be focused on relationships right now. You may not be focused on that type of frequency, but the energies on this undercurrent where your feet is being planted in the community, they're feeling this transition impacting them on a very deep level. And they're seeing this transition is about seeing your energy, seeing what you're cooking, seeing the absence of your frequency. You're stirring the pot, letting people know you are a chef. So whatever they thought you were, or whoever they thought you were, is being changed now. They're seeing the light of the day. They're seeing the meal that you're preparing by the smell of your energy alone to retract your frequency away from a dynamic that even had the audacity to request you to reduce yourself. They're seeing you rise above, knowing that you may be something different than they tried to paint you as. But this perspective is the change that they're realizing, or what they're going through right now. Very interesting message here. But I'm seeing this relationship bring not only on a platonic level, but this is going into bonds, relationship bonds, whether these are friendship bonds, these are family bonds that I'm seeing. I'm seeing this relationship ring as bonds you have created. And now that you have been in this elevated state, they're starting to see that you refusing, and this shell is still prevalent. This point of contention is still here. I'm seeing particularly in the family, like you did not cower, you did not reduce yourself or choose to fit into a system that was not operating on the vibration that your higher energy or this larger calling of you being a conduit would allow you to sit in. You could not sit at this table knowing the thoughts and the thinking or the perspective that the people in your family were radiating on. I'm not sure what this contention is in your family system, but you chose not to engage. You chose to leave the system, maybe temporarily, and focus in on something more important. Focus in on something that was aligned with your spiritual body. And now they're starting to realize maybe they made a mistake. Maybe there was something in their frequency that wasn't attached to something proper. But you had to make this stand. I'm seeing you taking a stand, a radical stance against a certain thinking. This contention here in this family system, along this thread that I'm picking up on, is about a way of thinking. Very large message here. And socially, I'm seeing these bonds as maybe people in the community you socialize with typically engage in dynamics from a low state. I'm seeing control, ego, something here, people wanting to engage, and more like the mass on a group think. I'm just seeing a social climate. They're operating in to match up with the social climate, and something in your energy did not fit into that mode, or you do not operate on that level, and you refuse to engage in this system, in this social climate, in the social scene in this way. And instead, there was something higher in you. But there was this point of contention here where I'm seeing you had to say no. Whether you said it verbally in a friendship group or a social circle, or whether you said this energetically, you refusing to merge your energy into the masses or the social scene in this way is causing this transition to occur, making people realize that maybe there is another way. Maybe I don't have to model the very things that I see. I'm seeing social media, this social climate, maybe social media, social thinking here. And something in your energy does not fit that mold. And instead of reducing yourself, instead of molding yourself to fit in this dynamic socially, you chose to go on your own path. You chose to listen to this higher calling, and it's placing you in the state of elevation or levitation, rising above the community you're around. Oh, sadness, grief, your heart being upside down. This is the grief in the heart. No matter which thread of consciousness that you associate with or resonate with, whether it be relationally, familial, or socially, there is this grieving process in you, treading down your own path or rising up to your own path at this current time. But something here is keeping you balanced, knowing that you're meant to be this conduit between this world and the other world. That's why on the opposite side of your heart, your hand is creating this energetic bubble. This energy around you from you being in this state. I'm seeing this energy so large. I'm not sure. It's almost like you're creating another world, the inception of another world. But this energy is the starting point of that. Very large message here. And the opposite side of this relationship ring was the brilliant stone. Like, people are starting to see the light of your energy, the brilliance of your frequency. That's what's on the other side of this relationship ring. On one side, transition is occurring, but on the other side, people are having to come to terms with the light of your energy. You're brilliant. And it's forcing them to come to terms with the reality of the existence, of the very paradigm that they live in. I'm seeing this brilliant stone like a supernova, like a star in the cosmos that is dying, in this explosion makes people see, forces people to turn their head against the perspective that they had of you, to see the truth and the light of your energy. And the reality here is that your brilliance is complex. On the other side of your brilliance is your pyramid stone. It's like they're seeing, or you're forcing your energy, being in this elevated state is forcing people to realize you understand community more than they think. You understand energy and how to build community, elevate community to a higher level. But you retracting your energy is a part of you understanding community. Role modeling, a higher behavior, a higher system in the cosmos that is so strongly, that is felt or read so loudly, it forces people to see the light. It forces people to reevaluate their perspective, creating this tilt in the community. By God, this is going so large. What I'm seeing here in this download, I was seeing the star, something in the universe, a supernova. You're this star in the cosmos. But this star in the cosmos speaks to your alignment, the other half of your body being on this spiritual level, being on a conduit between this world and the other. But you sit in this elevated state, reflects or mirrors your frequency out here in the cosmos, aligning or highlighting the very reflection of a star. And in this cosmos, you understand community. You understand the frequencies moving, but you're seeing how a supernova is developed. And you understand that it's about timing. It takes time as these energies move out here, you're seeing the larger picture. You're seeing these constellations. You're seeing the vibrations and the traffic that's running throughout the universe. That is you understanding community. But on a higher level, you're understanding the spiritual cosmos, the community that is alive and active out here in the cosmos, and this tilt that I'm seeing, this earth tilt. Your understanding is creating this shift or connecting with the shift that is occurring here in the cosmos. And this tilt is the earth being on this axis. I'm seeing, oh my God, the seasonal changes occur based on this tilt. And the timing, oh my God, today, and the timing that you're connected to is this autumnal equinox. And though I'm recording this message on the 21st, the fall, the timing of fall occurs on the 22nd. And something in your energy aligns with the changes in the frequencies moving. And it does not matter what hemisphere you're on. By God, this is such a large message. Even though we're reading this on the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere is also experiencing a change just on a different season. It may be summer or spring somewhere else. I'm not sure. I'm so large up. But it doesn't matter where you are globally. Time is changing. The frequencies out here are changing even through the day and night. There is a shift in time, and your energy is so aligned with the frequencies moving throughout the cosmos, this tilt that the community you're in is feeling is reflecting back the very vibration, the very energies that you're connected to in the cosmos. That is why the shift is occurring. Because your frequency is radiating on this levitational or this state rising above, protruding out, this blossoming or this shift in the very frequency around you. This is a very large message here. On the opposite side of this tilt is what is coming, what is changing once this energy folds over, once the equinox turn, once the time shift, once this change appears. Your earth stone is here, the wild side of you, which is the Wedame stone, your earth stone, and the water stone is here. Very large message. And what I'm downloading here is that something in this shift is changing or making your work change or aligning you with your purpose deeper, fully, and again. These 4 quadrants are here. I don't know what this is about, but south is the Wedame, your liberated side. West is your earth stone. North is your water stone. Your institution, your life's purpose is being hit or will hit 4 quadrants or different quadrants of your life as the time tilts, as the time change, as this shift occurs. This is what's on the other side of it. And your purpose is what will be felt first. You shifting deeper into your life's purpose. And what it will expand out is your liberated side. It will hit this liberated side of you in a very profound way. But the shell is showing face down. And this face down was the second quadrant in the original message. The first was about, this is complex, and I promise you I'm trying to read it very loudly. The original message spoke to the south, which was the doll, and the east, which was this energetic thread that had a shell showing facing down. And now that I'm here reading what's on the other side of this shell facing down is about activation. It's not active yet because it is not spring yet. It is not fall yet. The equinox has not turned in the time yet. But once it does, you may feel the need to change jobs. You may feel this boost in the energy surrounding the liberated part of yourself to be more freer, to be in a space where your body has the flexibility to ignite your life's purpose on a more deeper level. Yeah, so for those of you in the collective that may have already jumped ship on this message was because you picked up on it. This is an indicator of how deep or how sensitive your frequency is. So for those of you who may have already got the urge to apply for different jobs that is more aligned with your life's purpose, the liberated side of you jumping ship was you listening to the messages or picking up on this message before the shift has turned. You were ahead of the consciousness. You were ahead of this message, picking it in. And for those of you who may have already quit your job or changed your work or aligned with a frequency that was more in congruence with the liberated part of you, that is what this message is about. And this is going north and south and east and west in all different dimensions. But for those of you who started with work first, it was about you feeling the need to heal, create this healing wave over the community. Like something in you knew wherever you were sitting could not heal at the level that your energy was made for, that your energy had the capacity for. You were built for something larger. And this healing is about the people. You knew you had the capacity to do more. And you jumped ship, or you took the call, or you leaned on this intuitive knowing, or you will for some of you as the tide turns. Because there's something greater in your capacity to deliver to this planet. And this push was a little bit hot. It had a little bit of heat to it, like spontaneity. Like a boost of energy, and you did not know where it was coming from. Yes, it was a part of you knowing you had a greater capacity, but it was also due to this energetic line running here, which is your sophistication landing in the fire. Was a genius in you that is landing or connected to the other world that cued you in to the science of your very own frequency, to the science of the energies moving through the cosmos. That's why you sat in this state of levitation. Sitting in this state, rising above, listening to the information, downloading what you were getting. And this genius in you had this push, had this call to take the plunge, to take this dive, because you knew what was coming down the ladder. You knew what was coming from the other world, and you listened. And the other message that I'm downloading that's running in a different direction, but still at the core, was your purpose. It was about your identity. For those of you in the collective that may have this calling, or may feel this calling, or picked up on this energy to focus in on what matters most to who you are, you got a lot of information about this. You got a lot of information surrounding taking this plunge or going down this path. I'm seeing doorways open by you planning and leaning on this energy, by you leaning into this not only download, like it did not sit in your mind, your vision, in your dreams only. You did something with it. You processed it enough to take action on it. And this action may have this frequency or this lingering energy in this thread about your identity. There is something more that is connected to what you do that deepens your identity, that deepens who you are. And where you were sitting did not suffice. Where you were sitting in your office cubicle, for some of you, is what I'm downloading. It does not suffice. There's much more to who you are. And a part of this was about your life's purpose, your life's gift, your identity, and the gift you're here to deliver. See, that is connected to the earth. You're meant to bring down something powerful to this planet, to this earth, and this pull or this push that you felt grounding you in something sure. You were sure about this. There is a sureness in your frequency that made you apply to different jobs, that made you quit to go on a different path, that has you thinking about something other. And this other is your gift. This other is cementing the identity of who you are, which is much larger down to this paradigm and where you're sitting. As you sit above, as you think, as you contemplate, you're trying to figure out how you can merge your energy to something a little bit more compatible to you dispensing this gift out into the world around you. Very large message here. And even if you're not on one level, you may be hitting both of these energetic threads of consciousness. You may be feeling all sorts of these quadrants or both of these quadrants here. Very interesting message in the stones. And at this time, I would like to pull some cards. I know we're not going to get into the third and fourth because these messages were so powerful. And these messages kind of ran together on this current. So I would like to dive deeper into this very large thread to break it down for us a little bit more, to gain a little bit of insight of what's going on as you sit in this levitated state. And I would like to pull cards on this transformation stone that is impacting the relationships around you. And also this tilt in the consciousness, this tilt in the community that will happen, that will bring forth this very powerful change in your life's purpose, or will shift your life's purpose, and it may appear in your world as you changing. What is this transition stone and relationship ring about? And as we look at the southern quadrant, which had you in this levitated state, this started to cause a commotion or this transition in the world around you. And the community around you impacting your relationships. And the cards that came out were stubborn, take a break, motivation, mastery, space, and harsh. And what I'm downloading here is that as you sit in this state of positivity, of peace, of love, of joy, of lightness, something in your energetic body forced you out here because of this stubborn energy, this stubborn frequency that refused to see the light of day, to see the truth of the reality that you were radiating on. And this stubborn energy also is a kind of transition in your world. People may view you as stubborn. People may view you like you don't want to just fit in, like you cannot just get along with the current stream that is moving. Why can't you? Why do you have to be so stubborn? Instead of cowering or reducing your energy, you use this frequency as a motivating force to motivate you to focus in on the very thing that your mind and your spirit was calling you on. It's like you gave the okay, like this is the reason, this resistant energy or this stubbornness of the frequency you were coming up against gave you the cue, gave you the sign to say, I need to focus on other energies, things that are least resistant, things that are more fluid, things that are in more alignment with me, which created this space, this energetic space between you and the people around you. But not only that, it created this space between you and the other world that allowed you the ability to hear the downloads more clearly. You quiet the noise. You created this space where you shut the blinds and cued in on this energy that you were tapped into to download the messages that were coming, to hear the frequency that you were radiating on. And what you realized here was that you started to hear messages. You started to get cues on the very things that you were feeling. The noise on the outside was interfering or creating this static in the radio waves that your energy was cued in on very clearly. And once this space was created, the tuning, the messages, the radio host started to sound a little bit more clearer. And you put your ear to it. And you start to write down, I'm getting, what is that movie? Oh my gosh, A Christmas Story. That is what I'm getting in this download. You wanted to put together the pieces. You wanted to put together this message or this story that was here. And this message was drink more ovaltine. And this more ovaltine has to do with aligning yourself with the frequencies around you. The frequencies you're picking up on. Drink more ovaltine. But this message that I'm seeing is lean more into spirit. Drink from the well of the very energy that you can feel, that you can hear. The static in the world around you is clouding the noise of the frequency that is pouring into you. And you need to drink from that well. And as you do, you take a break. You create this space from relationships, from people, from your work. This break, this transition rolls over into the connections around you, because you start to see the core or the motivating factor or the very reason or the very place these people are at, these connections you're forging. But there's something about mastery here. Oh, I was picking up on that test. You were being tested. You've mastered the test of understanding energy, even when it comes to the closest of connections. And as this transition occurs, sweeping over the cosmos, as you cue in on this message, it takes you on a break. It forces you to realize where the energies are, where the radio frequency waves are between the bonds you have built. And it forces you into this point of contention. It forces you to master where you are and what you have truly accepted about your role, about your position, about how much you see the power in who you are. And you have mastered this test in the relationships around you. And what people in the collective may be viewing you as harsh, your response is to drink more Ovaltine. Your response is to a louder message that rings to the highest tune of your frequency that pours into this consciousness that you're connected to, which fuels you into this grocery store to prepare something that is coming, to prepare for this meal that you're preparing and cooking up. And those who are hungry and thirsting, they will feel it initially as harsh. This harshness is them feeling the absence of your energy, that tumbling and rumbling of their stomach because they're not being fed by God. They're not being fed in the way that they're used to when they were connected with your energy, and they're feeling that. But because you have mastered going along your merry way, drinking more ovaltine, listening to the messages running throughout this radio wave, connecting you to a higher source, your stubborn energy is more like a motivation for people to realize that they are hungry. If you're not feeding them, they are hungry for something. And you're stirring up this pot, mastering your gift and abilities. And they're starting to realize this spiritual difference in this space that you're creating. Again, this is not ego. This is not you sitting in a place of hierarchy thinking you're better or above. This is about you connected to a higher frequency that people are stubborn to, that people are ignoring, that people are refusing to engage in, to stay on a low vibration, to feed their own self-serving endeavors, to feed their own energy. But what they're realizing they're eating on is snack food. And as you disassociate, allowing people to go on whatever path they're choosing, you're just not going with them. You're attached to something more fruitful. And this is the transition that's here. You mastering your energy and not making other people responsible to go down the way you're going, making people bend on the wheel that you're serving up something great. But when you separate yourself, they see in their own world the meal, the fulfillment of the energy that they're being fed on is something of high quality, of high science. And you're telling them to drink more Ovaltine. Drink more Ovaltine, please. Very large message here in the cars. Thank you all for joining me in tonight's healing circle. And if you stayed this far in this very powerful message, I am so tickled by that. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, or comment below to let me know how these messages are showing up in your world. And with that being said, I would like to gather my energy to see what's on the other side, which spoke about your community ring, or this tilt in the earth next to your platform of power, which spoke to your ability to build community, your mysterious side to nurture a village together. And the cards that came out here were cosmos, location, restoring hope, delivery, process mechanism, and spiritual guidance. And what I'm downloading here is that there is something extremely, extraordinary about your frequency. Like your capacity to go to a very high level, like you can go up to the stars. And it's because you are a star. And you have this very unique place in the cosmos. The cosmos of the community of the cosmos. I'm not sure, but that's what I'm gathering here. Longitude, latitude, there's something about the longitude, the grid, the energetic grid that your spirit can dive into, that can float up towards, which ultimately allows you to restore hope in humanity. It's almost like you have to go this far to pull the consciousness up a little further, restoring hope in the perspective and others that there is something much higher than the things that you all are processing, that you all are receiving, that you all are downloading. And this is the way you process your energy, by going into this almost like this eclectic side of you. But this eclectic side or liberated side energetically is connected to the cosmos. you existing in this void, you existing in this levitated state. And when I picked up on before in this energetic hub where you create this energy around yourself because it's so potent, you're so high up, it oozes out through your frequency of something otherworldly. And as you continue to stay in this state, you restore or you pump this frequency out around you, creating this unique signature of yourself, which is this world you create by you staying or existing frequentially in the cosmos as you process the very frequencies around you. You see, this message is energetically connected to the southern part of the first message, with you being a spiritual conduit, a messenger between two worlds, and a part of your body was up north above the masses. And this aboveness goes above even the above. The way you process the energies around you, because they're so deep, because your heart is connected to community and people around you, and this grief and this disappointment in your relationships, this disappointment in your family structure and the social system, and this collective energy around the people around you, in order to merge or release or to process this energy out, it takes you so high up in the cosmos, creating this inability to find you. That's why space came out in the original message. People may feel this space like they don't know where you are, but they can see you, but they don't know where you are. They can't register where your energy is. It's because you're located at this time in the cosmos, processing the energies around you. But not only that, it's about you processing, but as you're out here, you're seeing the connectivity or the energies moving, and you're realizing that this space is the exact space in time where a shift is occurring. A shift in the cosmos, a shift in time, a shift in the equinox where fall is appearing in the northern hemisphere. And something about you merging this energy, merging your frequency, processing both of these quantum or quadrants in the frequencies around you, is allowing you to deliver something mysterious, deliver something different to the world around you, because you understand community. Your understanding of community is your understanding of the cosmos as well as people, which allows you to deliver this mysterious energy around you, building community because you know how it works, making you a spirit guide by God today, making you a spirit guide in the world around you, knowing that this space is here for people to know that there is a difference in your energy, but also if people have the courage to rise up and take this plunge, this leap in time and space, they can get on a higher trajectory. You're just out here in the world around you, fueling yourself up with a lot of information. Light energy, information about the cosmos, the stars, the constellation, the equinox, shifting your energy, merging it in. Therefore, the people around you, the energy around you in this paradigm is feeling the shift you're seeing in the cosmos, mirroring back to you an elevated state, or making you appear in this elevated state to deliver guidance to the world around you, to deliver guidance to the people around you, making you quite the scientist at building communities on both spectrums. Period. Very large message, you guys. Thank you all for joining me in tonight's healing circle. And with that being said, I can look over at this flame of this candle letting me know I need to come down and close out tonight's healing circle. Thank you all for joining me and contributing your very powerful energy. And with that being said, I will see you all at the next